How about some good old-fashioned scrapbooking or memory keeping, or however you want to term it? I call it scrapbooking because that's what I'm used to. So I've really taken to doing these smaller pages like this. A lot of times you will see me start with a page from an A5, one of our A5 notebooks. This time I absolutely love this birch pattern. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go straight up, use the pattern paper as my background, and let's have some fun. So fall is all about comfort food to me, and we had these awesome local mocha bowls. So I thought, well, in the tones in the picture were perfect with the greens and the creams and the whites. So I used the birch paper as my background. Love this plaid. I thought that was absolutely perfect with it. Just cut a piece of that. This is a very, very simple layout, but I feel like it does have some nice layers. And it was easy to do, especially with these gold foiled, I don't know if you can see that, vellum circles. And again, whenever you talk about design, repeating patterns will make a design pleasing to the eye. There's a circle in my photograph. There's actually numerous circles in my photograph. So an easy way to highlight that and make the layout pleasing is to add more circles to it. So that is what I did here. I did 2 of those gold foil circles, and then I added 1 of the circle pieces from the chipboard over top. And so it balances everything really, really well. I added a little bit of these great rub-on watercolor bits behind here just to add a little bit more texture. I love our embossed stickers. The detail on these is always so amazing. So we have some that are realistic, and then we did a handful of them that are not. So how cute is that little coffee mug, right? There's a little journal on there, little umbrella, little acorn. So there are a few on here that are, so you have 2 different styles, which is nice. I feel like you could kind of make that really, really versatile. And depending on your layout, whatever style you want to use. I love this font from the Puffy Alphas, and I love how it blends in a little bit with the background. It doesn't jump out too much. So that highlight is really, even though there's not a lot of color in the photograph, your eye is still really drawn to this part of the photograph. I stamped the foraged from the stamp set. You could always stamp this on a piece of the white cardstock that comes in the kit. This is the scrapbooking kit, by the way, if I didn't mention that. And you could add a little bit of journaling on there. If you didn't want to use the die cut, add the date, or you could layer another one on there. So these are easy to turn into die cuts as well. I love that about that stamp set. Speaking of stamp sets, make sure you check out my stamping video where I show you some ideas on how to use that stamp set as well as the 4x6 stamp set. That is the subscription one. And then I just kind of finished everything with my journaling and then a couple of the little glitter dots. And again, those are circles as well. So very, very simple. I kind of curled up the edges of this just to give it a little bit of texture so it's not too flat. You could have torn the paper if you wanted even some more texture. And so I'll just punch the holes in that, add it to my album, and it's good to go. Again, I love this size because it makes it easy to store, but it's not an overwhelming large 12 by 12. Sometimes I do love a 12 by 12, especially if I want to use a really big picture or a lot of pictures, but I am gravitating more toward this size right now. So that's just a fun little look at a layout that you can create using the scrapbooking kit. So I think this is my absolute favorite project this month, and I'm leaning toward, and you guys leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I love to hear what you'd think about this. I'm leaning toward doing a live. So our 15-year celebration is coming up next month. Super excited about that. And I want to do a live kind of crop with you guys. So I'm trying to think of what would be a fun project to do. And I'm really leaning toward this because it's super simple, super easy. You can use anything from your stash for this. Any notebook you have, you don't necessarily have to have this kit, but it's so fun and it's so simple. And I want you guys to feel artsy and feel creative and not necessarily have to have a bunch of photos on hand. So you guys let me know. Tell me what you think. But I had a blast with this. I had fun. And I don't say that I don't have fun when I do all my other layouts, but a lot of it is very focused on what I can show you, very specific ideas, trying to highlight certain product. This was just me being creative and just having fun. So what I did, because you get now in the creative kit, this amazing pad of thinner paper. Love this. What can I do with this? I want to tear paper. I want to play with paper. What can I do? I want to layer and just have fun. And I want to paint a little, And I loved this. This is supposed to mimic a tag from your clothing, like a clothing tag. So we have this on here, and I thought, okay, that would be a really fun on a cover of like a mini album. So, and I love our little mini notebooks. I don't feel like they get enough love. And I use these all the time, and I thought, you know what? This would be so fun. And you guys loved the junk journal from September. So I'm like, all right, how can I show you how to do a junk journal without having to have a junk journal, right? Make one yourself. So any notebook you have, even if you have one that you started to write in and you don't use anymore, you can use it as a background. You can throw paper and paint over it and just turn it into a junk journal. I liked the approachability of this size though. I don't have to fill a lot of space, right? So this is a great size for beginners as well. So this is our little mini notebook, or a pocket or passport or whatever you want to call it, but it's our little mini notebook. And all I did, now there's no pictures in here. All I did, I had some watercolor paints and a glue stick. So I had glue stick, watercolor paints, and then the creative kit. That's it. And I went through and I just started, I used some of the deco cards kind of as some of my focal points because they have the beautiful writing and the pictures on them. And then I had some plain extra white cardstock. I painted some swatches on that. I cut those out. I splattered some paint. I used some washi tape. And I just started building these layers. And I didn't I just stuck stuff down and had fun. So I tore some papers. I added the sticker on there, little paint. I took some of the really cute washi stickers from the little washi book, and I kind of crinkled them and stuck them down. Let me make sure that you can see that I got that in focus. Okay. And then again, just layers. This is another one of those, and I tore the bottom of it, added some washi tape. I made some cute little swatches and doodled around them. You could doodle on here. You could do some handwriting on here. More torn pieces of paper. So the fact that this is, it has the striped pages for weekly plan, it doesn't matter. It just becomes a notebook. It just becomes yet another layer with artwork. Whether you cover it up or use it, it doesn't matter, right? I added a couple of the cute little tiny tabs in here from the die cuts. There's another one of the deco cards on here. I splattered a little paint on there. And then this page, again, more of the layers. There's like 2 layers and a glue stick. I'm telling you, glue stick and a stapler. That was it. I added a couple of those. There's another piece of the little washi booklet on there. I made this cute little tag. I just put a little blob of paint on there and a little string. So I made a cute tiny little tag. I thought that was cute. I added a little paper clip. This page I actually just tore so that it gives you that other layer. It's kind of neat. It's a shorter page. glued some pattern paper on there, added a little paint. This is so accessible. Like, this is so easy for you to do that, and it was just fun. It literally took me, I don't know, maybe a half hour. So it wasn't a big time commitment. Added one of the die cuts on there. And then I glued the envelope that the deco cards come in. I glued that on there. I tucked in one of the little cards. I thought that was really cute sticking out there. I did add this bit of journaling. I thought it was just a pretty little, a little poem that I, you know, a little poem, a little journaling about November and the theme. Added that on there. Some of the rub-ons. How cute is that, right? You could splash some more paint on there if you wanted to. You can go as crazy as you want. And then this one again, I tore one of the pages. So I tore the page. I tore this paper. I thought this paper was so pretty. Just stapled on this cute little swatch thing of watercolor paints that I put on there. You could do that with colored pencils or markers, whatever you want to do. I added another one of the deco cards, some more washi tape, some more of the pattern paper. There's a strip of washi tape there, and another one of the little tabs. That's a rub-on over some pattern paper. So it's just, you're just literally gluing stuff to the page. You're gluing stuff, clipping stuff, stapling stuff. I stapled this one to this page. I thought those colors matched the mushrooms that were on there, and then a little rub-on over top. And that was as far as I got. But again, that's it. You can keep going. All you're doing is literally taking pieces of torn paper, gluing them down, and just having fun. I mean, it's literally that simple. Like, boom, done, right? Throw on the little Hello Fall, crinkle it up a little bit, add a little paint. You've got a fun page. Now, if you wanted to, you could go through and do all of this in the whole booklet and then make it a gratitude journal. You could turn this into a little mini album that you then add photos to later if you wanted to. You could do the same idea for a travel album. You could throw all of your ephemera and stuff like that you collect when you go traveling. You could throw that on here. It's the same idea, and you're keeping it very, very simple. And like I said, it's accessible, it's easy to do, and you're not worrying so much about, well, what's on the page? Well, if I don't like that, I'm just going to cover it up. If I want to highlight that cute little saying, then I'll leave that exposed. It's that simple. The size is fun. It's a cute little pocket size. So I feel like you could take this and throw this in your purse. You could work on something like this. Like if you're at a soccer game or a football game or a practice and you're there and you just, like, I'm going to be here for a couple hours. Sit in your car. This, I'm telling you, and a glue stick, that's it. How fun would that be, right? You didn't even have to do the paint till later if you don't want to. Or if you had colored pencils, you could do it with colored pencils. But like I said, this was a super, super fun little project that I did. But let me know if this is something that you would like to see as our little online crop. I'd love to do this with you. I think it would be fun. But leave me a comment and let me know. Let's take a look at a fun way that you can use the stationery kit. So the stationery kit comes with all things that are just fun and stationery inspired. And sometimes I like to show you how to do something in a journal. Sometimes I love to show you how to use it with our inserts. These are the A5 inserts on a weekly spread, which I always end up using it this way. And so I'm happy to show you this because I love the overlays and the vellum. I think they're so pretty. And this is the Moss and Mirth collection. It's the November collection from Cocoa Daisy. But I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a Cocoa Daisy kit to do this. Stationery items, stickers, sticky notes, overlays, vellum, and washi tape. This is all stuff a lot of us have in our stash. So you could take some of these ideas and use them, totally adapt it to whatever way you want. So I loved this overlay, and I thought it just kind of was really, really pretty in my weekly spread. So one of the things that I did is I printed out my to-do list for each day. I used the weekday stickers and put those in there. And so just highlighted those. I thought that was fun. I love to add a sticky note on my weekly spread, just to kind of highlight things that don't necessarily go with the day, but something that I need to remember for that week. And I took the sticky note here and I added a strip of the washi tape across the top. I thought that was really, really pretty. You could stamp on it a little bit if you wanted to. And then I just added that on there with a little sticker behind it. Thought that turned out really, really cute. And then there's an adorable little mushroom embroidery clip in here. There is a beautiful postcard, and I love these. And again, this is one of those things, tell me if you're getting sick of them. I'm not. I love them. I love the feel of them. I think they're like beautiful works of art. And I love to tuck them in my planner. I sometimes will put my sticky notes on it, punch holes in it, and use it to hold that as a page. Sometimes I will use these in my my scrapbooking as another page to put a photograph on. They're fun to do with that as well. But again, just used some of the other stickers. I used some of the pet stickers on here. There's lots of fun decorative stickers that you can have. We have vellum stickers as well. So all the stickers you can use in here, you could decorate the whole month's worth of the weekly spreads with these stickers. There is a cute little button, flair button that you could pin on a tote or a pouch if you wanted to, or if you pop that off, you can use it with one of our magnetic clips, but that one's really cute. So I'll probably put this on my pouch and then just use this clip this month. The other thing I wanted to mention is the fun daisy stamp. I love the idea you could stamp that on each section next to your to-do list. You could color that in. You could put a little watercolor behind it. Would be a lot of fun. I love the little daisy. I wanted to include a stamp that's kind of just a universal fun stamp, not necessarily a mushroom or a toadstool or a fern or anything like that. So I thought the daisy was just kind of fun to have in your stash, as is the vinyl sticker. I'm going to hoard this because it's so pretty. I don't know yet where I want to put that. So that's part of it as well. But that is a fun little look at what you can do with some of the items from the stationery kit.